Broncos news. Good morning, Broncos country. Welcome to Sunday morning. Broncos versus Chiefs. Here we go, guys. This is the first one of the two matchups this season. The next time we will see the Chiefs will be week 18 in Denver, when the Broncos will be wearing their old 1977 throwback jerseys in the nice, cold, brisk air of January. But for now, it is early November, and the Broncos are still trying to make a name for themselves, while meanwhile, the Chiefs are looking to stay undefeated. How are we all doing today, guys? Post your comments, post your questions. Let's break down this game as we get ready for it. I'll go over some of the inactives. We'll talk about some other last-minute changes. We'll talk about strategy. We'll talk about what you guys are worried about, what you guys are hoping to see. And then at the end of the show, we'll be doing our score prediction contest that we always do. And remember, the one caveat to all of that is you have to pick the Broncos to win, because I'm not going to reward you for picking the Chiefs. Anyway, guys, let's see what we got going on in here already. Gary, how y'all doing? I am cooking an L, a big fat L, and I am hoping to serve it to the Chiefs this morning or later this afternoon, hopefully at the end of the game. I know a lot of people are probably just automatically writing the Broncos off. And I think after this last week's game, it's easy to do so. This is a trap game for the Chiefs. I think it was a trap game for the Ravens as well. I think the Ravens last week, one, they had the same record as us, 5-3. You know, they're trying to vie for that number one seed in the AFC in general, so they can get the bye week going into the playoffs. And so they're fighting for that. They had just lost to the Browns, a very embarrassing loss for them. So for them to come home and put on a show and say, hey, and really tell the world, tell the NFL, we are a playoff team. We are a Super Bowl contender. We can take care of business at home. It doesn't matter who we're playing. It doesn't matter if it's one of the top three defenses in the league. We are going to obliterate you. And that's what happened. And so this week, a little different in that, once again, the Chiefs got away with a lucky win, if you want to say it that way. Bottom line is, during the regular season, if you have the chance to go in overtime with the Chiefs, don't go for two. Do not take the game tying extra point if you score with less than a minute on the clock. Just go for two, because then you're taking overtime. You're waiting for the coin flip, and if the coin flip goes to the Chiefs in the regular season, that's game over. You're done. There's nothing you can do. It doesn't matter how good your defense is. I mean, the Chiefs are just built to win in those close situations, overtime situations. If you have them on the ropes and you have like a minute or less, let's be honest, if you have any amount of time on the clock against the Chiefs, it's dangerous. But if you have a chance at the end to either win or tie, you go for the win. And that's what happened last week against the Buccaneers. They went for the tie, took them into overtime, and they lost. So look, the Chiefs are very, they're not the juggernaut that their 8-0 record really portrays them to be. The biggest win they've had this year is by a 10-point margin against the Giants, I believe it was. So it's not like the Chiefs are putting up 35, 40 points a game. Hello, Facebook user. How we doing? Not sure why the name's not coming across, but glad you are here. We do got to believe, and we will talk about why I believe that the Broncos will win. I want to hear from you guys, though. I'm going to be talking for about an hour here. I want to hear from you guys. Why do you think the Broncos are going to win? Let's look at some of the Chiefs' wins here. They have scored 27 points, 26, 22, 17, 26, 28, 27. Now, they finally broke the 30-point mark last week. They finally broke it, but that was with the overtime touchdown drive. Otherwise, they were sitting at 24 at the end of regulation. So this is a team that at most in regulation has put up 28 points. And sorry, their biggest win by 10-point margin was against the 49ers. 10 points. That's a two possession game. They're not running away with these scores. They're not making it where it's a three or four possession game by the fourth quarter and it's garbage time. I don't think you're going to see that today. You shouldn't, I don't expect to see what we saw last week unless the Broncos just utterly give up again on offense, which then causes the defense to just kind of shut down entirely as well. Good morning. How y'all doing, guys? Let's hear it. What are the Broncos going to do today? What are you concerned? Are you concerned about Bo? I'm not. Are you concerned about the defense? I'm not. At least you shouldn't be. There's no reason to be. I know, again, Broncos country and fans across the NFL are looking at last week's game and showing that, trying to show that the Broncos are, they're hacks. They're benefiting from beat up teams. Their defense isn't really that good. Look, and I've said it throughout the season. This is a really good defense, but they're humans. They're going to have bad weeks. It was really unfortunate last week, but it is what it is. Let's see. Good morning. I think in order for us to win, we can mix up formulas in order to beat the Chiefs. Run versus pass versus run, short pass versus long pass. If we do that, we might win. Now, completely agreed, man. Completely agreed. The one line in there that I want to highlight: run versus pass versus run. We have got to have a run game. We cannot win this game if we don't get a run game. That's the way it is. Javonte or whoever is running we've got to find one of these three running backs that can find something and get something going early and often, because if they shut down our run game, it's going to look a lot like last week, where then we're going to have to rely on the pass. They're going to read that. They're going to predict that. And it's going to get out of hand really, really quickly, guys. So, look, I completely agree with it. We have got to find a way to keep the Chiefs defense guessing, keep them on their toes, and we have to execute very well. But at the heart of all of this, if we don't get the run game going, there's no hope for our offense today. There's no hope for Bo Nix. So we need to utilize Nix's legs, whether that's some bootlegs, some design runs, whatever the case, use his legs to help keep the defense honest. But we also need help from our running backs. And that just, this season has been tough for us to do, to say the least. In fact, I want to go back to last week's game here and kind of preview for you a little bit what we can expect, but there's no run game. Let's see, Gary. The Chiefs burnt their own biscuits. Broncos defense will deep fry. Man, I love this. You know what, guys? We're gonna hold on. Bear with me one sec. We're gonna do this, guys. We're gonna mix things up here. If we're talking about cooking, if we're talking about making something, I got my chef's hat here, guys. We are cooking up an L, and I'm ready to serve it. I am ready, man. Let's see. Every team has bad games now and again. This is exactly what I'm talking about, guys. The Broncos defense is very good. The other thing they're very well, I don't know if I want to say very good about it, but they have shown that they can be good about it, is learning from their losses. Remember what happened last year? I'm sure some of you out there have maybe buried this in your memories. It's forgotten because you don't want to think the memory of it is too painful. And I'm going to take you back to week 5 last year against Miami, whatever week that was. That game was 70-20, guys. 70-20. We were the laughing stock of the NFL. We were the laughing stock of the NFL. And now, and then fast forward, I don't know, 10 weeks later, the Broncos have gone on a 5-game winning streak. We're talking about playoffs in December. Like, the Broncos were making a push. They were 1 game away from having a winning record. Okay, so this is a team that can bounce back. They have shown resiliency, and this is something that I don't say lightly, because before Sean Payton came into town, there was no resiliency with the Broncos. When things started going bad, you could just see on their faces on the sideline, here we go again. Here we go again. And if they were cooking up anything, they were cooking up disappointment within their own locker room. The Broncos had a problem with resiliency. They had a terrible culture. They had a losing culture. Losing was to be expected in the locker room. If you didn't lose, that was not the norm. Okay? If you won, that was not the norm. It was weird to win. It was normal to lose. Sean Payton came in and said, we are not playing that game anymore. Last season, he came out before the start of the season and said, our expectation is playoffs. The expectation is playoffs. And on day one, Sean Payton came in there and said, we are changing the culture. Unfortunately, that is not something that you can just print out a memo and things change overnight. That takes time. And after suffering a 70-20 defeat last year, I'm sure that message was very hard to pass along in the Broncos facility. But here we are more than a year later, and the expectation is that Broncos will win every week. And it's weird for us to lose. So when we lost last week, not just lost, but lost in the fashion that we did, which involved the team basically giving up, or at least seeming to give up in the second half, where they did not come out of the locker room. Nothing was there. All of a sudden, the Ravens run game got going. All of a sudden, everything else for the Ravens got going. We couldn't stop anything. We couldn't get anything going ourselves. That should not carry over into this week. I think we have the leadership and the coaching staff to say, to reframe the players' minds, move them forward. We got to face this Chiefs team with the utmost importance, the utmost seriousness, and we can win. We can beat this team, guys, very easily. Go Broncos! Let's go. I think Facebook might be mad, guys. I'm not sure why I'm seeing all these unnamed people commenting. I appreciate you commenting. I really, really do, because otherwise I'd just be talking to myself, and that's no fun. Let's see if Batty is available. Bidet. Sorry, see, it's been a while since we've said his name. If Bidet is available, he should be in the mix. He seems to run harder than others. I don't think he's back yet, man. Let's look at the Broncos depth chart there. I think he's still on IR. Bidet was looking very, very, very promising. He was showing a lot of promise that, if he was able to really keep going, it was going to be really fun to watch what he was going to be able to do. And then that hit was just scary bad. So let's go back. I'll come back to that here in a little bit. Let's go Broncos. I love it. There's a lot of IFS there. What if ifs? There's a lot of ifs there. What if we beat the Chiefs? What would people be saying then? You know what? I love the energy. I love the thought process. I really, really do. If the Broncos win, what does that mean? Because let's start with the more likely scenario. Okay. Taking my blue and orange goggles off here for just a second, guys. And looking at the running back, Tyler Bidet is still on IR. As soon as he comes back, I want him out there too. I want to see more Audric Estime today. Maybe he'll get something going. It looked like he got something going at the end of the Ravens game. Now I know the Ravens kind of let up. They're just like, the game's over. We're not going to tackle anymore. But the case is Tyler Bidet still was looking really good. Now let's go back to the more common outcome for today's game. We lose. Okay, we're 5-5 with 7 games remaining. We are 5-5 with 7 games remaining. And if you look at the rest of the Broncos schedule, I've said this 3 times. I'm going to say it again. This is a very winnable schedule. So if the Broncos win, we're 6-4 with 7 games remaining. You're talking about a winning season being the likelihood, and a playoff push being something to very seriously talk about. Now, even if the Broncos lose and it's a close game, I think you can still have that conversation just as strongly as if we win. So unless this is a total blowout, which, knock on wood, everybody, all 12 people watching right now, knock on wood that doesn't happen, you still have 7 games and you move on to the next week. But look at this. Coming back home against the Falcons, a very beatable team. The Raiders, that should be a win. The Browns, that should be a win. Right now, that's scheduled to be a Monday night game. Would not be surprised if they flex that to Sunday. That's a winnable game. The Colts at home is a winnable game. The Chargers are going to charge. The Chargers almost charged against us last game. If Pat Surtain had come back, they would have charged. They almost did. Okay. We don't expect to lose PS2 against the Chargers next time in like the second play of the game. So that's a winnable game. The Bengals, very winnable game. And then you end the season versus the Chiefs again at home, which if you're the Broncos and that game could be the game that pushes you in the playoffs, you're going to have a whole lot more to play for than the Chiefs at that point, because they should have the first round bye locked up at that point. So you're looking at, could the Broncos win 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of their 7 remaining games? They could end the season with 12 wins. They could end the season with 11 wins if they lose today and then still go on a run here the second half of the season. So there's a lot of ifs there. But either way, I think the Broncos have put themselves in a very good position to even end 5-5 after today's game. And I don't want to talk about a loss before the games happen, but I'm just saying here's what could happen. 5-5. And then you just need to win 4 of those games to have a winning season. You need to find 4. Can you find 4 wins between the Falcons, the Raiders, the Browns, the Colts, the Chargers, the Bengals, and the Chiefs? I think you can find 4 wins between those teams. With this defense, I don't see how you don't get 4 wins among those teams. And at the very least, have a winning season. And then you go into the offseason saying, okay, Bo is our guy. What weapons do we need to get around Bo to be successful? And then you're talking about a playoff berth and potentially a playoff win. And then the year after that, you're talking about how deep in the playoffs can we get. Year after that, you're probably talking about the Broncos starting to be a Super Bowl contender. We're on the right track, guys. It's early in the process, but we're on the right track. I love that comment. Hopefully we can play clean football. Bowls. You hear me? Bowls. And for people who are watching right now, you may not know this, but the Broncos play us in their locker room. All of our podcasts, all of our shows, they listen to us. I think we're favorited on all of their Spotify accounts. So at least that's what I tell myself to help sleep at night. Anyway, Bowls, if you're out there and you're listening, man, no holding penalties, no penalties at bad times. Everybody, you got to play clean football. As soon as you start getting penalties against the Chiefs and those refs basically have their hand on the flag as we speak. At this very moment, the refs probably are just, they're dressed, they're warming up. Their hands are already on the flag, waiting for any opportunity to call something against the Broncos. Guarantee it. So you have to play an incredibly clean game. Because as soon as you start collecting those penalties, you start shooting yourselves in the foot, drives get cut short, you're settling for field goals instead of trying for touchdowns. That does not work for you. That does not work for Broncos country. It's not going to work for the team. Taylor's at the game. How sweet to have her watch them lose. God, I hope I can see some tears after they lose from Taylor Swift. That would be so great. Gary, it's tough to change a negative culture around, and Peyton is doing a great job at it. Completely agreed. Look at all the other coaches the Broncos have had over the past 6, 7, 8 years before Sean Payton. They could not change the culture. I don't even know if that was like an important thing to them. And I'm not knocking them too bad. Like, they're inexperienced coaches. Fangio, Fans Joseph, what's his name? Hackett, who couldn't hack it, right? They're all inexperienced head coaches. They didn't know how to change a culture. Not of their own doing. I'm sure they've seen other people do it. We are going to get to score predictions here in a little bit, guys. So make sure you stay with me. I'll pull this one back up because I'll explain the rules of the score prediction contest. Big game. If we win 70% plus chance of playoffs, if we lose 42% chance of the playoffs. Yes. So look, again, that 70% chance is beautiful, right? That is a beautiful number to see. And if we actually see it at the end of the day, every Broncos fan should be grinning ear to ear for multiple reasons. If we lose, that 42% chance is still incredibly good, especially for a team that started 0-2 in the season. 0-2 teams historically do not get in the playoffs. with a very few amount of exceptions. Very few. So to be this late in the season and still have at minimum a 42% chance of playoffs with the teams that we have coming down the pike, we collect some of these wins. People aren't going to have us winning against the Falcons. People are not going to have us winning against the Browns, the Colts, the Bengals, the Chiefs. But again, if we can get some of those wins, I like it. I like it. Last comment was Jerry. Yeah, okay. So Jerry, appreciate you commenting. I am not sure why the Facebook user, like it does not pull up names for me today. Weird. But I appreciate you being here, Jerry. Good to see you. Team Puffball. Yep, it's Jerry from Team Puffball. There we go. PS2 is in fact playing today, and so I'll go ahead and break down the inactives. For Broncos players, there's no one surprising on the list. To be honest with you, Greg Dulcich. Trade deadline's come and gone. I think he's going to be a cut at the end of the season. There's no reason for him to keep him anymore. Chris Abrams drain, just a depth cut. That's fine. Healthy scratch. Keydron Smith, Frank Crum, Calvin Throckmorton, and Wazarike. I never say that name right on the first try. So the Broncos are very, very healthy. You look at the Chiefs players, Juju Smith-Schuster is inactive. Okay. He's kind of had a drop problem this year. So, I mean, I'd rather him playing almost. Let's see. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is out. Okay. But the running back situation doesn't seem to be really affected by him. Otherwise, the rest of their names, they're pretty healthy too. Okay. So we have PS2. We have everybody out there. Even PJ Locke will be out there today. However, he will be wearing a club like this. So catching the ball for any interceptions is going to be kind of tough for him to do. So no interceptions today from PJ Locke is what I'm expecting. Not impossible for somebody with a club hand, okay, to get an interception. However, very, very difficult. So just as long as he bats the ball out of the air, I'll be happy. Let's see. Let's get some more of these comments, guys. Hopefully they can play better than last week, and hopefully they can win and give the Chiefs their first loss of the season. How great would that be? Guys, just to be able to look your Chiefs friends in the eyes and be like, you lost to the Broncos. That's how much you suck. Andrew, I see you're in here. How you doing, man? Do the Chiefs bring their own refs, basically? I mean, I think the whole roughing corps is on their payroll somehow. Either, if not directly from the Chiefs, I think Roger Goodell basically has sex dreams about the Chiefs and pays them himself. I don't know. Angelo, good to see you up in here as well. Angelo from all of his Team Puffball guys. I'm not going to try to create Team Chef Hat because this is a Chiefs thing only. Okay. Score predictions coming up here soon, guys. Stand by. No all hail Mahomes. None of those personal fouls. Invading Patrick Mahomes' personal space results in a touchdown. Chiefs win by 50. By 50. You're saying that Broncos are going to lose by the same amount they lost to the Dolphins last year. Okay. Your team hasn't put up over 30 points in regulation, dude. So, okay. Yeah. 8-0. Whatever. We get it. You guys. Okay. Radbeard, Team Radbeard. I don't know. I kind of like the hat thing. But we got to figure out a different hat because nobody's biting. Let's cook today. Sean, how you doing? Good to see you up in here. So the names on YouTube are popping up correctly. Facebook is just mad today. It's a comment on a meme. Okay. I see what you're doing there. Michael's dreaming for sure. Any Chiefs fan is dreaming today. Okay, guys, let's get to the score prediction rules. Here at Bourbon Broncos No BS, every game day we have a score prediction contest. Now, pretty simple. You make your score prediction. If you are correct, we will send you some free Broncos swag, a hat, a shirt, kind of. We'll talk to you about what you want. We have had a winner before. I would love to see another winner in our 9th season here. Now, if you pick the Chiefs to win, I don't care if you're correct. I don't care if you're perfect. I don't care if you correctly guess the number of yards. I don't care if you correctly guess the number of hamburgers Adam Reed is going to eat before the game. Okay. If you guess the Chiefs to win, you're not winning anything from me. It's just not happening. Okay. So you got to pick the Broncos to win. And then you got to put your score prediction in the chat before kickoff. Now, if you are correct, make sure you grab a screenshot of your comment and send it over to me so I know that you won. I can verify that it was you, and I can get your shipping address and information. So go ahead and post in the comments what you got for score predictions. I'll say mine here right before the end of the show. We are less than 30 minutes away from kickoff. Okay, looking for a 24-17 Broncos win. Again, that's very doable. I think that's what I mean. You shut Patrick Mahomes down, you get in his face, you sack him. That was one thing we didn't get last week, was the pass rush just wasn't working. And that's because we were just so focused on containing Lamar Jackson and King Henry from getting to the outside, getting those big runs, getting those big plays, that the pass rush was not getting to the quarterback. And that allowed Lamar Jackson all the time he needed in the backfield. So we have to change something up this week. But if we're able to do that, we can hold them to 17 points. Again, it's not like they're scoring a lot more than that. Okay. They scored 17 points against the Chargers and won. Okay. So if the Chargers can do it, we can do it. I'll put it out there. Okay. I think, Jerry, you had your score prediction here as well. Boom. Right here. 24-17 Broncos. I'm guessing you're picking Broncos. You always pick Broncos. 24-17. Again, I like it. Holding the Chiefs to 17 points. Very doable. And it would absolutely confuse them, I think. Gary, Broncos 26-16. I love that as well. Again, guys, get screenshots because I'm not seeing names on most of these score predictions. So get screenshots of your score prediction and let me know if you win. 23-20 Denver. Close game. Very likely. Very kind of likely situation where I could very easily see Bo, and eventually it's going to happen, guys. Bo Nix is going to be in a situation where he has to push the ball down the field to get a game-winning touchdown with 2 minutes on the clock. That situation is bound to happen. Now, the good thing is we have seen Bo Nix strive, especially early on in the season, where he really did well was in those 2-minute situations or when the offense was in a hurry-up offense. So I'm not worried about it. I'm excited to see it. And I think if we're in that situation today, here you go. Here you go. Now, if the Broncos are smart and go for 2, right? And the Chiefs pull a couple penalties on us, we got to know that the refs aren't going to throw any flags. Okay. Which is pretty embarrassing for the refs. Anytime, every week you look at the refs in the Chiefs game and they're like, these are horrible refs. And they're not the same ones every week, too. Okay. Sean, 27-20 Denver. I love Got my dog licking on his paws. Sorry, guys. Sean, 27-20. Let's go. Let's frickin' go. I love that, too. A lot of close score predictions. 24-17. Got you, Jerry. Awesome. We got another one. Broncos 28, Chiefs 23. Broncos 23-20. Broncos 26-24. I love this close score predictions. Gary has one of the widest spreads here, 26-14. I'm seeing at 26-16, so some 10-plus point spreads there. That's right in line with the Chiefs all season. The Chiefs, again, guys, the Chiefs have not been running away with these games. I just don't see how the Broncos could allow themselves to get in a situation where they're down by more than 14 points by the end of the game, by the fourth quarter, where it's like, okay, they still have a very reasonable chance at success here at turning this game around and pulling it out. Awesome, guys. Keep the score predictions coming in. I got a few more minutes here as we talk through some things, but again, let's look at this, guys. Broncos have a really good position here today, just like they did last week, to tell the NFL, we're here, we're real. Okay, we're not going anywhere. Okay, I'll correct that. We are a team that should be taken seriously. And they have to execute to that, though. They can't just say, hey, look, we're a 5-4 team. You can't just automatically discount us out and then go out there and play crap against good teams. You have to play the good teams. Yes, you got to. When you play the bad teams, you got to take care of business. When you play the good teams, you can't just be like, oh, well, we don't care. It's halftime and we're losing and they're going to beat us, so we don't care. That you cannot have that attitude. And I saw that attitude last week. At least that was the impression I got from watching the players, both on the sideline and how they played, how they executed, or lack thereof. So the Broncos have got to go out there today and just play their game. If they play their game, they're going to have fun. If they're having fun, I don't expect to see another Cortland Sutton touchdown pass, though. Let's see. They always get refs that give them almost all the good calls and needs to be freaking stopped. And here's the other thing. Like, yes, they get these calls and no calls. That's the other thing. It's a lot of these no calls that always seem to go in the Chiefs' favor. Like, it's one thing if you're like, okay, the other team was penalized a lot, right? And you could point to, well, that was a stretch of a penalty. That probably wasn't a penalty. But when you look at it and you're like, this definitely was a penalty, the ref was looking right at it and did not throw the flag. The number of times that happens in favor of the Chiefs, it's hard for me not to debate with you guys that this league isn't rigged. It's hard for me not to. Because you see all these examples and you're like, how can I argue against that? Right? It's pathetic. So it's the no calls as well. But this is why the Broncos have got to go out there and just they have to win despite the refs. And that's the same for every single game. That's not just against the Chiefs. You always have to go in there and win despite the refs. Okay, if you lose because of a couple bad calls the refs made, you can't purely blame the refs. There were probably, for every mistake the ref made, there was probably 10 mistakes your team made that could have put you in a better position, to where that call wouldn't have mattered. So the Broncos just have a harder battle today in that they have to play a perfect game because the refs probably have a bet on how many flags they're going to call against the Broncos today. Honestly, I hate to say it because I hate being like, oh, screw the refs. It's the refs' fault even before the game starts. But you look at the season. You look at the history of them in the Super Bowl. You're telling me that in the 3 Super Bowls they've been in recently, they haven't had a single holding penalty on their offensive line in 3 Super Bowl games. Wow. Yeah, that's very believable. Whatever. Hey, I know who this guy is. Clayton is up in here. How you doing, Clayton? I know I don't see any names, but when I see this comment, smashing like that share button, guys, that's a Clayton comment. Clayton, good to see you here today, buddy. Smelling a few sacks and 2 picks, baby. I would love that. Now, this is where, guys, we don't have Justin Simmons. And I'm not saying we're going to lose because we don't have Justin Simmons. I'm saying the one guy you can always count on to get an interception against Patrick Mahomes is Justin Simmons. And if you don't believe me, this year when he was on the Falcons playing the Chiefs, he got his interception against Patrick Mahomes. Okay. Love Justin Simmons. Wish he was on our team today because we could definitely use one of those Justin Simmons interceptions. Now, we have these other guys that got to step up. We've seen Patrick Tan do it. We've seen Riley Moss do it. We've seen these other guys do it. They got to get their hands in the air. They got to bat down some of these passes. They got to get some tips that should hopefully turn into some interceptions for us. It's got to happen. So I hope you're right, man. I hope you're right. 28-24 Broncos. I like it. Close game, guys. This could be a nail biter. So even if the Broncos are down by 10 or 14, don't walk away from the TV. This could be a nail biter. Again, the Broncos are beatable. Or not. Well, yes, the Broncos are beatable. We saw it last week. The Chiefs are also beatable. Okay? If they were a team that were putting up 42, 45 points every single week, holding their opponents to under 18, 16 points a week, I would say we're in trouble. That's not the case. I mean, their opponents look like, just eyeballing it, are scoring an average of 23, 24 points, maybe 22, 22 to 24 points a week. Broncos could do that. And then their defense holds. It's a close game. And if you play a close game against the undefeated Chiefs, you should be in the conversation of you're a legit team, or a team that has potential to go far. Let's see. I personally think Bo is going to be fired today. You've got to believe. You've got to believe, guys. Believe. Let's talk about my score prediction, guys. Here we go. And you still have time to post your own if you haven't yet. Remember, free Broncos swag to whoever gets the Broncos score guessed correctly. Now, Broncos are going to go out there and struggle early on. Offensively, at least. That just seems to be what they do lately. And I'm okay with that. As long as they're putting together some drives, maybe not necessarily getting field goals or touchdowns, but getting some first downs, keeping our defense off the field, keeping the Chiefs offense off the field, right? That's better for our defense, get them rested so they can go out there and get things done. But if the defense is on the field continuously, it's just going to be a long day and get out of hand really quickly. So I think if there's a lesson to be taken from last week's game is it's the coach looking at the entire offense and saying, are you guys going to step up? The other half of the room over here, the defense is doing 110% of the work. Are you all going to step up? Because if not, why are we doing this? Right? There's a lot of pressure on the Broncos offense to make this work, to execute strongly. I don't want to say perfectly, but near flawlessly. When we throw those bombs down the field to little Jordan Humphreys or to drawing a blank on his name, the other guy that drops the ball all the time. Right? Like Bo Nix can get the ball in your hands. If any quarterback can get the ball where it hits your hands, you should be making that catch as a wide receiver in the NFL. If you don't, then you have no business to be a wide receiver in the NFL. And that's the way I see it. I calls it as I sees it, and I sees it as I calls it. And if you don't like it, then get your own show. I believe I like it. 27-14 Broncos. Great score predictions. Even the second drive to our D is going to be fire. Okay. I like it. Let's see. Nope. Going to get a few hurries and a sack their first position. Yeah. So I don't expect the Broncos defense to go out there and start slow. I expect the Broncos offense is going to take some time to get going. Some of that is going to be from the run game. We have got to get a run game going. Troy Franklin. That's the name I was thinking of. Troy Franklin is just a drop machine. And to think that I get very frustrated that we moved on from Timmy P. Okay. But we now know that Troy Franklin is not ready for the NFL. Tim Patrick was great. Love Tim Patrick. Huge Tim Patrick fan. We would not have known, I don't think, the situation of Troy Franklin if we still had Tim Patrick, because Tim Patrick would be getting the majority of those snaps. Troy Franklin would be out there a little bit, probably wouldn't get a lot of looks. If he gets some drops, they'd be saying, well, he needs more playing time, and, he's just too low on the roster to be getting more playing time. So I get it. It sucks that we moved on from Tim Patrick. I hope the Lions do well with him this year. I'd love to see the Lions win the Super Bowl just for Tim Patrick. But we're stuck with trying this Troy Franklin experiment, and it's not working. It's not working. Troy Franklin, dude, catch the freaking ball. It's not that hard of a concept when you're a wide receiver and we have this connection, me and Bo Nix, because we play together. I don't see it. Little Jordan Humphrey, dude, you are a hit or miss player, right? I want to see more of Vele, right? This is a game where I think you need to be more focused on the win than focused on trying to see what talent your players have. Let them go execute. Call the game that you want to call. Let the players go execute. No evaluations this game, right? Don't say, hey, get Troy Franklin the ball because we want to get some more tape on him. Tell Bo Nix to go throw the ball to whoever's open because we need to win the game. Sorry, that's just me. Okay, talked about that. Awesome. So look, Broncos go out to start slow. Broncos defense takes care of business. It's a close game all game long. Broncos 14, Chiefs 13. I don't think we even let them get 2 touchdowns today. Hope I'm right. Broncos 24, Chiefs 13 is my prediction, guys. I think it's very possible. Look, the Broncos are able to do it. We've seen them do it. We've seen them go on the road against tough teams. And granted, like Tampa Bay maybe wasn't just not expecting us to play at that level in any way, shape, or form. So they were very much caught off guard. The Chiefs are probably not going to be in that position. They lost to us last year, right? The last time we played, they lost. So they're looking for some revenge of their own to say, yeah, we didn't mean to lose to you all. Like that was a fluke. So, well, here we go, guys. We are coming up on less than 15 minutes to kick off. Don't forget a couple things. Fill your glass. I know it's the morning, but that's okay. You want to feel like a champion. You want to see your Broncos play like champions. You want to be a part of a championship team. Well, the best way to do that is to go grab some Breckenridge Distillery Championship Blend, Broncos whiskey. They also got, if you're like, I don't like whiskey, why would I do that? They got vodka. Hopefully you're a vodka person then too. So go check out Breckenridge Distillery, fill up your glass before the game. And then maybe fill it up again at the end of the game to either drown your tears in or celebrate with. And then in the middle of all that, fill it up again right at halftime, and then come back over here where we're going to be live for the halftime hash, breaking down the first half action, talking about everything we saw and what the Broncos need to do to secure a win at the end of the game. So hopefully when I see you back here in a couple hours, we're talking good things, or at least we're talking about, okay, like this looks promising. And we're not too sad, but we will see. Either way, I will be here and we will talk about the game, and it's going to be awesome. So, guys, as always, thank you for tuning in. We'll be back the next Tailgate Talk next week before the Falcons game. It's going to be fantastic. Lots of Broncos football left to be played. It's cool to see the team in this position because, again, going back to the start of the year, I don't think Broncos country – I don't think a lot. I don't say Broncos country. I don't think a lot of people really had the Broncos having more than 3 wins, maybe 4 wins at this point of the season at most, right? At most. So for us to be a 5-4 team sitting here right now, I'm happy. Okay, guys. With that being said, as always, you take care, enjoy the game, and I'll just leave it as I always do with a very strong Go Broncos. Take care, everyone.
Do what I like, yeah, I do what I like, yeah, I do what I like. Sipping goose, sip is right, and I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, cause I know I'm the show. In the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, yeah, they know I'm a pro.